Founded in 1979 by the Bic family of Bic pen fame, Bic Sport grew from a passion for water sports and world-renowned expertise in sustainable manufacturing. Visit bicsport.com and learn more about our full range of water sports products.
After falling in love with the island just over a year ago, Bic Pro SUP team member Mike Simpson has been making frequent trips to Puerto Rico. We caught up with him after completing one of his most difficult challenges to date, circumnavigating the island's 278-mile coastline on his stand-up paddleboard.
Since I was a small kid growing up on the East Coast, I always looked at Puerto Rico as the spot to go for big wave surfing. And when I saw the potential for a multi-day expedition trip to paddle around the island, I was down to do it, and it took me about a year to, get it all ready to fire it up. This is where it all started, right here in Condado Lagoon. It's a nice little park right here, very urban setting, right in the middle of city. I mean, there's buildings everywhere. And then just under the bridge is where we exited to get out into the Atlantic. The Atlantic Ocean is right there. Only surfing here on the North Shore, just paddling from reef to reef, I just wanted to keep going because it's a beautiful island. And I think a lot of its access is hidden from the main road. And the best way to see an island, I believe, is by seeing it from the water. I think people underestimate when you say, oh, yeah, the trip was 278 miles. And, their first thing was, oh, Mike, that must have been nothing. You've paddled up the East Coast, you've paddled the Hudson River, you've done other big, long trips. It's not about the mileage, it's about the conditions. We had unbelievable conditions. Puerto Rico this winter was so windy and the seas are so demanding. It's kind of like standing on a yoga ball in a bowl of Jell-O in an Olympic-sized swimming pool. It was some of the most wonderful and worst, frustrating paddling I've ever done in my life. That first mile that you go, it's awful. No matter what anybody tells you, the first mile that you go on an SUP, the beginning of every day, you're like, oh my God, why am I doing this? And then, 5 miles in, you just forget it, and you're just so in the zone going forward. On a big board, you actually can ride, the bumps in the ocean. We're way offshore sometimes, 7-8 miles, and there can be a shoulder-high, head-high wave behind you. It might only be breaking at the crest, but you get gliding, and you're just flying over the reef, and you can just see down below, and you can see the big branches of coral going like that. It's just an awesome way to travel.
Although originally planning to do the trip on his own, once arriving in Puerto Rico, it didn't take Mike long to realize he was going to have company on his journey.
Can I do some with you? And that's exactly what he said. Can I do some with you? And I said, absolutely, dude. Well, the next thing I know, he's buying dry bags, bungee cord, food, asking me about all this stuff, and he wanted to go. And then the more that I got closer to my departure date, I was like, this kid isn't thinking about one day. This kid wants to go. And I was not gonna stop him from doing anything.
I was going to go like 2 days, something like that, and come with him. The first day was really bad and hard for me. I just say like, no, I'm going to quit. But I said, no, maybe I try it tomorrow. And tomorrow, that day was cool. Maybe I go the next day and the next day. And for there, I keep going.
On this trip, it was the first time he'd ever camped. It was the first time he'd ever seen a cook stove. It was the first time for a lot of things that he had to, you know, take care of business in the woods and all that sort of stuff. Patrice and I from BIC, we had to make a board that could take all of this weight. We designed a board just for this trip. This is a board that displaces water, a board that can carry a ton of weight. And he paddled a board that is a recreational board, 278 miles, fully loaded in sometimes 8 to 10 foot seas, 30 knots of wind. The kid is a monster.
Visit bicsup.com and check out the full range of stand-up paddleboards, paddles, and accessories.